Welcome to Coach on the Couch. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, and we are on location today at Marshfield Senior High School. No coach, but a big table, and a couple guys here to fill out the table. Coach Costa, Marshfield softball head coach. Danny, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You got it. All right, well, we will talk about last year a little bit. We'll talk about what's coming in 2019, but first, Coach, how many years you've been doing this, and then what keeps you coming back?
This will be entering my fourth season, so it's my fourth season here. The kids, I have fun. You get close to them, and of course the advancement of softball in Marshfield. I always like to see that improve as well. But being close to the kids keeps me young, keeps me active, and if I can give back to the community in a small way, I'd like to do that as well.
Yeah, well, I think you're giving back to the community in a big way. A lot of success with the program. Including last year, your regional finals champs, another plaque to put in the trophy case here at Marshfield Senior High School. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On that. Sectional semifinal. We'll talk about that game just briefly. But before we do, let's just talk about 2018 in general. As we look through some of the stats, and you can find stats for anything in softball. You can outstat yourself before you even get off the bus. You get all these stats. Sure. But it may not matter, right? Runs scored and opponent runs given up are what matters. But as it turns out, you were second in batting in the Valley Conference last year, .415 batting average. You were second in pitching. Only two schools had ERAs under 3. And then runs scored. You scored over 100 runs last year, 102 runs. That's a pretty successful season. Wouldn't you agree?
Very successful. I mean, we could hit the ball. I knew we'd be able to hit the ball. We'd be able to pitch the ball well. It's the clutch hitting and the with the runners on base is kind of what separates a lot of teams. So, we did that. We did a good job of that all season. And the one game at the end of the year that we would like to do a little better in, we came up short. We hit the ball hard in that game. We hit them at people, and sometimes that's the way it goes. As far as us hitting the ball well, that goes to my coaching staff. John Donahue came in as well and worked a lot with the hitters, and we saw great production out of that. So, thankful to the whole staff and John for coming in and helping. And anybody who coaches high school softball knows you can't get enough help with your team.
Right.
So the more hands on deck you have, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those hitters, Megan Donahue, you talked to us last year in kind of the season preview on the actual couch last year. One of the premier softball players to come through Marshfield Senior High School. Just kind of thoughts as you think back on Megan's career here with the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but I coached a long time in California, and I've maybe only had 2 or 3 players that equal Megan's talents. Can't say anything that hasn't been said about her already. She's a great hitter. I believe she's catching out there in Florida for what she's doing. Catching most of the time. She's getting innings here and there, but most times she's catching, and I think that'll probably be where she goes moving forward. But just a heck of a kid, good teammate, just a power hitter. That's the thing. You move her to the leadoff spot and she gets on. You move her to the power spot, she hits home runs. She's anywhere you put her in the lineup, she produces, and that's attributed to all the hard work that she's put in and she's continued to put in. So
you led the conference last year in home runs, 9 of them. She had most of them.
Yep.
Most of those were off the bat of Megan Donahue, Emily Drager, Kate Conrarty, and some of the others. I'm probably forgetting some of the seniors, but just as you think back to that whole group, I mean, just a fun group to be around. They looked like to me anyway.
Great group, great leadership, really fun. Special to me because they were kind of the youngest class I had when I took over. They were sophomores, and I knew we had a lot of talent, and just wanted to kind of grow them into the players, hopefully, that they became. Emily Drager, we may not see another catcher like her as far as stopping the ball and throwing runners out. But I mean, when you have teams that don't even attempt to run on you, that's something to be said about her and the way she hit the ball and her quiet leadership. Kate Conrarty was more the team mom, and she did a great job at first base, hit the ball. Slumped sophomore and junior season, challenged her to come back senior ready, and she met the challenge and exceeded it. She dropped a bunch of weight, 30, 40 pounds, and came in ready to mash, and she did well. And then Morgan is another one that is just a great kid, one that you want in your dugout all the time. Never a downward, never anything negative coming out of her mouth. Always kept the kids positive and looking in the right direction.
Yeah. All right. Now you mentioned that sectional semifinal game. That was a home game against Chippewa. You came up on the short end of the stick on that one. You touched on it a little bit. I'll just let you talk to however you want to about that game, and then the season kind of coming to a close then last year.
For 6 innings, we played well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in high school softball, you got to play 7. But for 6 innings, we had them 2-0, 2-1, and I thought we were grooving along pretty well. And fly ball goes over our right fielder's head, kind of gives them the momentum of scoring a run. And I thought once they had that momentum, we didn't know how to stop it. So one error compiled another error. Maybe not being ready on every pitch of where to go with the ball kind of played into some of that as well. And but credit to Chippewa. What can you say? They're a premier program in our sectional, and every single year you're going to have to probably go through them or Spash. And so nothing. Even though I thought we would give them a better game than we did, didn't surprise me how well they played, because I figured they'd come in ready to play, especially since we got them earlier in the season. So.
Yeah, and to me that was two good teams on the softball field that day, and one was going to lose. One was that's the way sports work. It's unfortunate.
Yep.
It's the sad reality sometimes of sports, but
it is.
But the competition of it is why guys like me and you and your girls keep coming out to play, because we love the competition of it, and give us our next challenge and see what we can do about it. In that game and others, but in that game in particular, that inning you're talking about, they had base runners. And in your sport, you got to have girls on base. You're not going to have a home run hitter that comes up to the plate, every spot in the batting order. So you got to get runners on base, and you got to push them around. So with that being said, let's talk now about this year's team and getting runners on base and getting runs scored. Give us kind of the preview of the 2019 Marshall Tiger softball team.
Well, I don't see us hitting 18 or 20 home runs or whatever we did last year, but I do see. Our home run hitters have been switched with doubles and singles. So we're going to have to string hits together in order to score some runs. Probably play a little bit more small ball than we have in the past. That's not to say that I don't think we have an equally as good hitting team. It's just a different type of hitting team. Mm-hmm. We got girls that can make contact and drive the ball. And, we have a couple girls on here who they'll knock it out of the park if you leave one hanging. But it's going to be more stringing them along, moving the runners, butting them around. We're a lot faster than we have been in the past. Team speed, which it was evident against Lincoln on whatever last I played a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I think our infield will be the best it's been in my 4 years that I've been here. We're breaking in we're young, so I expect us to play like a young team from time to time, which I think is what you saw in that first game that we got back from Florida against Spash. First time a lot of those kids have been to that Spash environment and played in that Spash environment, and so I expect it to be different as we go along and as we grow as a team and grow as players, and they adapt to the high school style and figures out what kind of work it takes to perform at this level. I expect us to be pumping towards the end. We're young, but we have a lot of seasoned tournament players and tournament ball, and so I expect us to perform.
Yeah, good. Well, we're looking forward to the season, guys. You're watching Coach on the Couch. We are on location here at Marshfield Senior High School, visiting with Marshall Tiger softball head coach Danny Costa. Coach, a trio of seniors on the team. One of them made the cover of our spring sports magazine here, Jenna Jacoby. Magazine's available free to you at gas stations and retail locations around central Wisconsin and in Marshfield. Rhiannon Corzola, Madeline Mays. These are your 3 seniors. What can you tell us about them?
I mean, Jenna is a beast. She's probably the premier athlete in central Wisconsin. If you ask me, I think she's the best outfielder in Wisconsin. She can go long. She can lay down the bunt. She can drag the bunt. She can hit for a single. She can hit for a double. She can track fly balls down in right center, left center, over the fence. I mean, in Florida, she went through the fence, I think, 3 or 4 times in one game to track balls down. She's got an unbelievable arm. Runners don't run on her. So, she's a premier athlete to come watch. She sets the stage for us in the batting order. Madeline Mays was hurt last year, so she didn't get to do what I thought she would do. But she's come back stronger. Her shoulder feels good, and she's been hitting the ball well. So I expect big things out of her this year. She's batting 4th in our lineup. and she's been producing well. So, we don't need her to hit home runs. We need her to drive runners in, singles, doubles, and that sort of thing. Rhiannon Corzola, she's been a kid who's done whatever I've asked her to do all 4 years here. So I have nothing but love for her, and I think she's a good kid, good heart, good in the dugout, lefty swinger. She can knock them out. She can hit doubles. She can hit singles. So you never know what you're going to get from Rhiannon, but you know she's going to be there to perform game in and game out. So they set the stage for us. Good leadership. I expect them to lead this team. I expect them to show younger kids how to work, and I kind of team them up with some of the younger kids. And hey, this is what we do here, and this is how we do it. And it'll be one day, it'll be your turn to pass the torch. So I'm happy with the seniors and where we're at.
Marshall Tiger softball home games played at Marshfield Fairgrounds Park and then other locations around Central Wisconsin. When you're on the road, live streams on focus.news/sports and ZaleskySportsShow.com. Click live sports for live streams. Facebook, Zaleski Sports Facebook network for all the highlights of all the teams and around the area, including Coach Costa's Tigers. We had one of those highlights earlier this month down at Wisconsin Rapids. It was your sole junior on the team, Jordan Pretch. She was our player of the game, had a big hit at the end there to score a few to break open what I thought was a 2-2 tie. I don't remember everything, but
yep, it was.
It was. She's your only junior on the team. Tell us about Jordan Pretch.
Jordan's your classic never too high, never too low kid, right? You don't see a whole lot of emotion out of her, but you know she wants to perform and she's competitive. But you would never tell that by watching her in on the on deck circle or after she's made an error in the field or something like that. Just even keel, and come down to it. I had complete faith in Jordy. I've seen her do it time and time again with runners in scoring position. She's our lone junior, and a lot of kids on the team look to her as one of our leaders because of how even keeled she is. Never too high, never too low. Goes about her business, and I think that's real important for this team this year. We don't want to run our highs too high, and we don't want to get too down when we play a poor game. We got to stay even keel and just move on kind of to the next one. Whether we did good or bad, expect to do good, and when we did bad, shake it off, move on, and she does a great job of that. Of course, every coach would like to see a little pump fist every once in a while, but when I looked at her at third base, she had a big smile on her face, and she told me, Coach, I'll get it for you, don't worry. So
yeah,
I wasn't worried.
All right, Coach, when folks are at the games in person or they're watching the live broadcast, who are maybe one or two other girls they should be keeping an eye on this year?
Yeah, we have two young pitchers, freshman pitchers, Sandra Costa, Courtney Donahue. They're both going to get a lot of innings this year, kind of break them in. And then we have Madeline Boardbach, who is another freshman who's going to replace Emily Drager behind the plate. Maddie's been on a tear hitting the ball. She's a big, strong kid, lefty. As far as our sophomores go, Jordan and teams up with Lydia Schaefer at second base, and Lydia's a great second baseman. Needs to work on her hitting, but a fantastic second baseman. Can turn the ball quick, and I expect us to have multiple level plays this year with those two sitting there. Brianna Jacoby, and then you have Lauren Jacoby, so it's going to kind of be a Jacoby circus this year. But they're all good kids, so. Those are a few of them. I mean, we're going to have a lot of contributors. We have Emma Dorshorst, who's been called up. We have Brooklyn Bowman, who's another freshman lefty coming off the basketball program. Good basketball year. She's going to contribute. She's fast. She's powerful. I just called her up. She started out on the JV, but after what she's done, and I see her work ethic, I just called her up a week and a half ago. And so, Taylor Barwick's another one. She's another returning player that is a great outfielder. This is the fastest outfield I ever had. I don't know what to really do with all the speed between Taylor, Jenna, and Lauren. We cover a lot of ground. We get the ball in quick. But Taylor's going to do her thing. She's a single, double hitter, fast, gets on base, puts pressure on. Lauren's going to be more in the mold of a little bit more power hitter probably than Jenna is, and built a little differently, but makes contact with the ball. One of our better hitters, hitting the ball better right now, and as long as Courtney and Sandra can throw strikes and Madeline can stop some runners from going, we should be all right.
All right, and we know we're going to be all right, I think, so there's no more snow in the forecast, so we've got that going for us. Coach, sounds like another great year in the making here at Marshall Senior High.
Yeah, and I look down at the youth program, and it even gets more promising. We have a lot of promising players down there, and I hope softball in Marshfield is growing and becoming exciting. And I know I'm excited about this year. A lot of people thought all I heard all season was how are we going to get by without Megan and Emily and the seniors, and I think we're going to get by all right.
All right, good. Well, Coach, like I said, a lot of live streams coming up of your game, so people will be able to watch all around the world. The highlights will be out there, and you guys just keep doing your thing, and we'll be there to support you.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys, that'll do it for now. Coach Costa and the Marshfield Tigers softball team is set here for the 2019 season, and we will continue our 2019 Coach on a Couch series with more coach interviews coming up later this week. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Okay.